I'm Richard Mize, real estate editor for the Oklahoman and newsok.com. I'm here today with Lisa Noon, CEO of the Oklahoma Association of Realtors. And we want to talk about a little bit about the housing market and the recent get-together that you had last weekend, as well as looking forward a little bit. And I want to talk a little bit about some of the changes within the OAR thanks to the NAR. So first,
and a few of those, yes.
Talk about last weekend, what you did and what you accomplished.
We had our Legislative and Economic Summit last week, and we had about 120 realtors from around the state attend. And this was an opportunity for our realtor members to be able to go and meet with their legislators at the Capitol, to talk to them about the issues and to thank them mostly for supporting real estate and private property rights, which is really the underlying reason for the Association of Realtors to be in existence, is because we serve to preserve and protect private property rights. So last week was a chance for our members to come in, have a little bit of education, and then also get out and meet with their legislators.
Now, does the OAR deal more with the industry as industry or the market as well? I mean, I know I get some numbers from you once in a while, but can you talk about the market up to this point?
The market yeah, definitely. The market in Oklahoma has been very good. You know, last year in Oklahoma, our realtors sold over 45,000 homes, and so the market is it was 5% better in 2014 than it was in 2013. So we continue to see strength and growth in the market in Oklahoma. Certainly, our economy has been very stable. Unfortunately, we've had the downturn in the oil and gas industry most recently, and that, if that continues, will probably have an effect on real estate in the state, but we'll have to see how that plays out.
I think in today's Oklahoman, Dr. Robert Doffenbach was talking about the disparity between the impact of the oil price slide in Tulsa and Oklahoma City versus the rest of the state.
Yes.
And so, do you have your ears peeled for the Enids and the Muskogees and the Clintons and the Weatherfords and the Woodwards for that potential downturn? Absolutely,
absolutely. And you know, some areas of the state, Richard, are a little bit more protected from that, though, because if you look, for instance, at the eastern side of the state, we have a lot of retirement and second home dwellings there, and so that area is not going to be impacted as much by a downturn in the oil and gas economy. So it kind of depends on where you are in the state, but we definitely keep an eye out on every area of the state.
Can we shift now to talk just a little bit about the core services that OAR is embracing, I guess, since the last May, I believe, wasn't it, when the NAR made its announcement and its push. Talk about what that means and how y'all are rolling that out. Exactly.
Well, as a federated association, all of our realtor members belong to each level of the Realtor Association. So they belong to the national level, the state level, and to their local association or board. And so we're different in that way than many associations that are out there. Because of that, we have over 1 million realtors around the country. We have 8,800 realtors in Oklahoma throughout the state. And so because of that, we have a very loud voice in government, in advocacy efforts and the like. And it's extremely important to our National Association, as they hold the name Realtor. Now, Richard, not every licensee is a realtor, as you know. You must join the association and subscribe to a code of ethics in order to call yourself a realtor. And realtors subscribe to a higher level of education, higher level of standards, we believe, than say, folks who may just hold the license because they might dabble in it or do it part-time. Anyway, last year on May 17th, the National Association of Realtors Board of Directors said that the core standards provided by every level of the association must rise to meet the value requirements of our membership today. They said that our associations, every single association around the country, must meet 6 basic tenets of the core standards in order to become, as they say, highly functioning associations of value. Now, if you belong to an association today, you look for value for your dues dollar, right?
Correct.
Absolutely. I ask every realtor when I go and talk to them, what do you get for your dues dollar? Do you understand the benefits of membership? And so so association members must clearly understand that they are receiving value from their dues dollar. And so we provide a great deal of value, but much of it is in the area of advocacy and community or consumer outreach. Now, do those have a direct dollar impact on a person's take-home pay? Not necessarily, although they certainly can.
I want to go back to something you mentioned that was probably a real surprise to lots of folks who don't cover or follow real estate news. The idea of eliminating the mortgage interest deduction at the federal level.
Right.
Now, that was in the news quite a while ago, and I've seen it fall out. I mean, that's not being talked about now. It's not on the table now the way it was, is it?
Right. Not so much. You know, much of that has been talked about. Of course, at the national level, we are extraordinarily active in this regard. We are still very much concerned, though, about losing the second home interest deduction. All right, so
and that's why you're in Washington. That's why you come to the State House. That's why you're active and involved in legislation and in public policy.
That's exactly right.
Now let me ask you another question having to do with the core values, the core services. A year ago, there was some concern immediately from some of the smaller boards that, oh my gosh, we can't do this.
Right.
And now after it's been a year, at least Inman News this week was reporting that, you know what, there is some crying and carrying on towards, you know, the edges, some of the smaller boards. In Oklahoma, has there been any, or are there any pending mergers or any crying, that's not the appropriate word, but any issues with these core services?
Not so much crying. Don't think we've seen too much of that.
No, but you know what I'm saying. It's tension, and it's tense for lots of people who are strapped for resources in the first place. That's reality as well.
A couple of things on that. Our Woodward Board of Realtors recently merged with our Enid Association, and so they were a very small board. They were 40 people there in Woodward, and so our Enid Association reached out to them and was able to offer them the services and so on that they needed in order to maintain that presence there in Woodward. And so they have merged. Right now, we don't have any other mergers on the horizon. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure how that's going to play out. But at the state association level, what we've been doing was we basically hit the road last year when this came about. We've been visiting with every single local association and board around the state. And we've been sitting down with them and going through the core standards, making sure they understand this is what you need to do now. Because again, NAR expects you to be a highly functioning association of value. That is your mantra. And so we've been going out and visiting with them and teaching them about the many areas that they need to reach those standards in. And a lot of this is just getting things done that they are getting in place that they know they're already doing, that they're already doing so well. You know, the community outreach and so on, they're already doing so well. But you mentioned technology a few minutes ago. There were 3 or 4 of our local boards who did not have a website. And that is a requirement under core standards. So we're helping them, making sure that they have websites. So we are out there all the time with them. We've been doing their strategic planning for them. We have a staff person that we actually hired on to go on and actually be out there with our local boards to help them.
Thank you. Lisa Noon, CEO of the Oklahoma Association of Realtors. I'm Richard Mize, real estate editor for the Oklahoman and newsok.com.